Hey guys, I'm IzDaisho and I'm here bringing you Arena. Unfortunately, I don't have the next games in the Priest. Yeah, okay, so this is what happened. I was playing, I recorded 2 games, and then my computer shut off in the middle, and I didn't get to do the rest of the Priest run, which was really unfortunate. I was 3-3 or 3-2 at that point, and then my computer just shut off right as I was starting another game. And also the file got corrupted, so I can't even show you those 2 games, but yeah, I don't really know why this is happening now. It just said 0, even though I won a couple of games. I feel like I already opened this pack. Yeah, okay. Anyway, and it already had given me the gold to my account and the dust, so that was a little strange, but that's okay. Jump into another one. I think I'm gonna go Warlock here because of my quests. I haven't really done the quest in the past couple days, but yeah, I still need some 5 games with Warlock and 2 games with Warlock. So we'll do Warlock. I'm not a huge fan of Warlock in the arena, but I mean he's okay. Oh, I thought I said choose. Secret Keeper is not very playable. I feel like I talk about it a lot because it always shows up. Arcane Golem is just not something that I'm looking for unless I'm playing a super aggressive deck, and it's really hard to just like know that I'm going to be a super aggressive deck as my first pick. I'd be more likely to do this than grab the Arcane Golem as my 30th pick than my first pick, but for now I'll just take a 2-mana 2/3 that has some potential upside and be pretty happy about it. So Novice Engineer, it got a lot worse. It's basically like there's one little bit that I'm not going to reference, but it's basically like a Paladin hero ability because you're not losing card advantage by playing it since it replaces itself, and it just costs 2 mana for a 1/1. So it's basically the exact same thing as a Paladin ability. The only difference is that you cycle through your deck a little bit faster. That being said, Demon Fire is not a bad card. Shield Bearer is a pretty bad card. People started playing it in Constructed a little bit, but that's like a fringe case, and if you can't get all the exact cards that you need to make it good, then it's really bad. So I'm going to take a Demon Fire. Killing a demon is fine, or killing something is fine, not a demon. Killing something is fine, and being able to give your guy +2/+2 is also sometimes okay, so I like the card. Mortal Coil is an okay card. Abusive Sergeant is generally difficult to make worth a card because the 2/1 body is not quite worth a card, and giving a minion +2 attack is not quite worth a card. Generally you can get your tempo out of it because you play it and it has an immediate impact, and then they have to use more mana to kill your Abusive Sergeant than you used. So I think that makes it a lot better in something like Warlock, where the whole card advantage thing is a little bit skewed since your ability allows you to basically trade life for cards and also tempo for cards because you have to pay 2 mana. So generally this card can help you get back on tempo at the cost of cards. So basically you have a little exchange rate going. Normally, if you don't have Soulfires, Warlock allows you to pay tempo and life for cards, and this allows you to pay cards for tempo. I mean, it's not a perfect example, but basically to have that little exchange program going on is really nice because you can use it when you need to, and sometimes you need to get the cards back, but sometimes you need to just get back into the game, and this guy helps you a little bit. That being said, I still don't like the card very much, and I don't think I'm going to take it here. Tauren Warrior is just too weak. A 3-mana 2/3 is not good enough. I mean, a 2-mana 2/3 is fine. This guy would be okay. I'd think about taking him in Mage, but not even too excited. I'd much rather have an Amani Berserker 95% of the time. Mortal Coil, on the other hand, is an interesting card that has the potential to be very good. I'm also very early in the draft. I already have a Mortal Coil and a Demon Fire, and it's really fun to try and pick up some spell damage plus, and you can get some nice combos with Mortal Coil and kill some creatures and, get some stuff. Gonna go with the Stormwind Champion here. River Crocolisk is fine, but this guy is just a lot more powerful, and Grimscale Oracle is actually, I think, pretty much considered the worst card in the arena. Alright, Blood Imp. I still don't really know how to evaluate it. I haven't played it so much since it got nerfed, and I just don't think it's quite as good as it used to be, and I'm not sure if it's really worth taking. Especially since I have a good option in Mad Bomber. He's a very powerful 2-drop that I mean, he can deal with your opposer with opposing blood imps pretty easily, and often enough, it can get you significant advantage with its battle cry. And otherwise, it's just pretty average. That is a 3/2 for 2. This is not very good here. I have no demons, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get them, so picking up a Sense Demons here is tough. Razorfen Hunter is obviously not a good card, because the 1/1 is... I mean, okay, it would actually be a good card if it was just a 3/4 for 3. There is no card like that, as far as I know, and I think that it would be a pretty good card in general. It would be like Chillwind Yeti-esque, except not quite as strong. But anyway... The 1/1 doesn't really count as adding power and toughness. Like Silverhand Knight is a sort of like a 6/6 for 5 because the 2/2 is a lot harder to kill than the 1/1. So I don't love this card, but it's also not a garbage card. This, on the other hand, 1/4 taunt is just not big enough, and the 1 power really slows it down. I mean, when you think about the fact that this is a 3-drop that gets 1 power, 2-drops get 3 power. That's just significantly weakened. That being said, like a 4 toughness thing or 4 health thing is what you kind of want for your taunts. But I'm gonna go with the Razorfen Hunter here. Alright, so I got 2 really good common creatures, and that's really what you want to do with this deck. You want to pick up as many good commons as you can, because outside of... I mean, I just feel like there's so many weak cards in Warlock. I haven't really done an analysis, and I probably should before I start running my mouth off, but I don't think that the Warlock cards outside of their removal are that good. It does have a lot of removal, though. Anyway, I think I'm going to go with the Ogre over the Harvest. Actually, I think I'm going to go with the Harvest Golem over the Ogre, because one of the good common cards is Dread Infernal, which is a 6/6 for 6, and it's basically the same thing as Boulder Fist Ogre. It deals 1 damage to all characters when it enters, so it's a little bit different, but it's essentially the same card. And they don't really have a good replacement for Harvest Golem. And I kind of view these cards at about the same power level, so I think I'm going to take the Harvest. Except it's pretty hard to pick up 3s, so it's pretty nice to find one. And of course, my next card is going to be a 3-drop Nightblade. Not exactly where I want to be going. Flesh-Eating Ghoul is also not exactly where I want to be going. Basically, this card is kind of aggressive, but a 4/4 for 5 is a little bit weak when you think about Silverhand Knight being a 6/6, or like Stranglethorn Tiger being a 5/5. You really see how weak this card is. When you think about Chillwind Yeti being a 4/5 for 4, it's bigger, just eats this guy, but he costs an entire amount of crystal more. So I definitely think that it's a little bit weak. If I was playing an extremely aggressive deck again, then he'd be okay. I mean, dealing the 3 damage when it enters, still a reasonable sized body I could beat down, is okay, but it's just not quite good enough because I don't know how aggressive this deck is going to be. So I will take a Flesh-Eating Ghoul here, though I'm not too happy about it because I don't love this card. I think it's an okay card, but it's definitely not completely unplayable. So Drain Life and Stormwind Knight are my 2 options here. And let's go ahead and just shout out some pros and cons for each of them. So Stormwind Knight's not a great card. I'm not sure which of these is just better in a vacuum. I have no 4s yet, but I'm still early on in the draft. So that's a little bit of a benefit for Stormwind Knight. I already have a couple of things to take advantage of spell damage, so that's a positive for Drain Life. Even though I don't have any spell damage +1 yet, I could look to pick it up a little bit later on in the draft. So that's a plus for Drain Life. And I think it just comes down to the fact that I think it's really a close pick, and it would just come down to preference. So which one do I want more, Stormwind Knight or Drain Life? And I think I want to take the Drain Life and err towards the side of hoping to pick up some spell damage later. Alright, so Big Game Hunter's not that great in... Ooh, I could just take a Mountain Giant now that I think about it. I'll get back to it. But Big Game Hunter is not that great in the arena because the thing that you're going to be hitting the most is either a buffed minion or a Venture Co. And hitting Venture Co is good, but it's not... I mean, it's not like insanely powerful. It's just like a good, very good play. It's actually pretty powerful. If you can ever hit something with Big Game Hunter, it's very good. And like there's some classes like Druid that have Ironbark Protectors and stuff like that, and those are always nice to hit. Twisting Nether I've never played with, and I just don't think it's very good. 8 mana is just way too much for Wrath the God. Mountain Giant, though, with Warlock, you can just keep drawing cards and then make this guy really cheap. So I think I am going to go ahead and grab a Mountain Giant here. None of these cards are particularly good. I'm really low in the mid game. I have no 4s and no 5s, so I think Dark Scale Healer gains a few points there. Wolf Rider is an okay card, but it's not anything special. It's not anything particularly bad. I already have some 3-drops. This guy is less of a strict 3-drop because you don't want to play him on an open board. You would only want to play him on a board where you can trade something. But still, I just want a card for the mid game. I like healing my hero when I'm playing Warlock. And here's a Dread Infernal. This is just one of the cards that I was talking about that I might pick up. Very nice. Happy that I have this and not a Boulder Fist Ogre. Or, I mean, I'll be happy to pick up like one or two more 6 or highers, but I already have a Stormwind and a Mountain Giant. So, anyway, the other 2 cards are just nowhere near as powerful. I'll take another Mortal Coil, and now I'm really looking to find any sort of spell damage plus Ogre Magi's or Kobold Geomancers or Blood Mage Town. This would be ideal. I think I'm going to take a Doomguard here. I like 5-drops when I don't have any, and he just has he's so big. 5/7 is huge in this game. You have to discard 2 random cards, which sucks, but you know it does happen, and if you can get it and you don't have any other cards in hand, then it's absurd, or even one other card, because you're definitely going to get your value back. But generally, you can just draw the cards right back, and this guy is good at exactly what I was talking about earlier, same as Soulfire. It's good at trading tempo for cards. So you can use your ability to trade cards for tempo, and then this guy to trade tempo for cards. He's just a lot better at it than Abusive Sergeant or something like that. So I'm going to take the Doomguard over the other 2 average to bad cards. I think Felguard is the best here. Young Priestess is a fine card, but not great, especially without too many aggressive creatures. And I have a lot more spells than creatures at the early, in the early game. But I do need to pick up some more 2-drops. I only have 2 right now. Mana Wraith is not the one that I want to pick up, though. Let's take another Demon Fire. The other 2 cards were just not so powerful. Don't really like Novice Engineer. I don't love Stormpike Commando either, but the ability to enter and deal a couple damage and then trade with something is nice. You're paying a little bit too much for it, but it definitely has an effect on pretty much every game that it sees playing, so I'll pick it up here. Shadow Bolt, deal 4 damage. Again, I'm just not sold on these Blood Imps, and a 2-1 for 1 since I don't have any weapons is not where I want to be, so really, Ogre Magi is the most ideal card here. So Corruption is just a completely unplayable card. I guess I'll talk about it, but basically when you choose your enemy minion, they're just going to use that minion to run into another one. So you're just going to trade off with it, and you basically did nothing by this except for incentivize them to trade, which they probably wanted to do anyway. And Oasis Snapjaw is just too mediocre. I mean, it only has 2 power for 4 crystals, as I said earlier. Some creatures have 3 power for 2. He's not a terrible card. I'm not unwilling to play the turtle, but not excited to. But I will play Hellfire, especially since I don't have any yet. All right. Well, you can't do Ancient Watcher, right? All I have is a Sun Fury Protector to help it out. Okay. So I have a choice of either a second Doomguard or a Shadow Flame. I have 1 Hellfire to deal damage to all my opposing minions. I don't have that many creatures that I'm gonna be like fine and happy to sacrifice them. Then again, I don't really want to be dumping cards either off of Doomguard, but I think it's still gonna be the choice. Alright, well, we got a Soulfire. That's nice. Only 9 cards left to pick up some spell damage. I was really hoping to pick up 3 or 4 of them, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna get that opportunity. Spellbreaker's a good one. I mean, I don't have any 4-drops yet. I have just 1 Hellfire, and I don't know how it happened, but no Chillwind Yetis. So sad. Still taking it over Blood Imp. Could have had like 16 of them in this deck. And Goldshire Footman I've talked about. He just doesn't do anything. Ascension Shieldmaster for sure. I already have too many spells as it is that don't do enough because I don't have any spell damage power, and I need 4-drops, so pretty much the perfect card there for me. Hey, Kobold Geomancer comes into play. Spell damage +1, and a 2-drop. I need 2 drops. Did I take that Shadow Flame? I did not take the Shadow Flame, so I could take a second Hellfire here and be pretty happy about it. I don't really have that many creatures that Frostful Warlord is going to consistently be good, and I already have a few 5s, so I think it's pretty clearly going to be the Hellfire here. Alright, so do I want another Stormwind champion in a deck without that many creatures, or do I just want like an average 3-drop? I think the answer is average 3-drop, even though I already have a bunch of 3s. Ooh, Ventrico. These two cards are terrible, so there's no real decision. Argent Commander or Wild Pyromancer. Now let's think about this, because all I have is really like 2 3s. I don't really need 3s. I also have these two, which sort of count as 3s. I have a bunch of, or 2s, sorry. I also have a bunch of 3s, which I can use if I have the coin, so I can play 2 of them. Argent Commander is definitely a better card than Wild Pyromancer. It's just a question of whether... And Doomguard is not in the discussion. I already have 2. I don't really need another one. I already have 5s. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big things. That's probably enough. And I'll be able to get to them pretty easily. I do like Argent Commander, but Doomguard serves a similar purpose, and I already have 2 of those. So I'll take the Wild Pyromancer to shore up my curve a little bit. Oh my god. This is, like, amazing. I know you never get to see this. I will take another big creature now, because I don't really need 3s, even though Harvest Golem's great. And looks like it didn't matter which one I took in the early game, because I would have taken the other one now. And then my last card is a Knife Juggler. Happy times. Another 2-drop, and it's a 3/2, and it has some upside. So, overall, deck didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped. I was hoping to pick up, like, 2 Geomancers and a Magi, or, like, as many Azure Drakes as I could possibly find. But, I mean, the reason why I did take the Mortal Coils and the Demon Fires and the Drain Lifes is because they're not unplayable on their own. So, we'll see. And I don't have high hopes for this deck. I don't think I'm that good at drafting Warlock, and I would be pretty happy if somebody could give me a lot of picks that they think they would have made differently. I think that this draft could have gone in a completely different direction, and it still would have been fine. But I don't know, I'm alright with this one. I just don't think I got... I don't know, I guess I got some powerful cards. I didn't get enough Chilled Yetis, basically, so that makes me sad. So I'm definitely going to mulligan both the 6-drops because I don't want to see them in the early game. And Razorfen Hunter is just kind of... If I mulligan all 3 of them, there's probably a good chance that I get a 3-drop anyway, since I have probably 6 or 7 of them in the deck or something like that. And this is my worst 3-drop in my deck, so may as well mull it. Though my opponent is playing Priest, so he can't really deal with a 1/1 so easily. Got a pretty good hand, not an absurd hand, but it's pretty good. That's a good draw. So hopefully my opponent's just going to drop a Northshire Cleric here. Or do nothing. I'm fine with nothing. Oh, okay. That's just better. That's like the best possible thing. Opponent played an Angry Chicken on turn 1. Gives me the idea that maybe my opponent's a newer player. But, I don't even think... Like, he's going to play like a Oh my god. What is happening right now? Alrighty, you got it. I guess I should have played the Wild Pyromancer. I could have Drain Lifed him and then killed both of his creatures. And nothing. Alright, let's just drop a Felguard here. I don't care that I'm destroying one of my crystals. Not a big deal. So he's got to have like a Shattered Sun Cleric and a way to deal 1 damage to this thing, and then it just dies to like a knife still. So, not really caring about this whole situation. 4 mana. I guess a Shadow Madness would be really bad right here. Alright, that's fine. It's not great, but hopefully he just sends both those guys in, and then I can just hit Drain Life. Kill that. Because Light Spawn is just a card that I need to deal with. Oh, well, I could just do that. This seems pretty good. Unless... yeah. That's a little annoying. But I needed to do this so that it kills it. Anyway, opponent's down to 20 already. And I've got stuff on board he doesn't. He can't play Holy Nova this turn. He can play it the next turn, but that's probably okay because I can just start drawing now that I have a huge board advantage. I have to make sure not to use Drain Life while this Wild Pyro and this Knife Juggler are still at 3/1s, no matter how much I want to kill something with a Drain Life. Obviously, the Pyromancer would trigger, kill all my guys. It's tough. Sometimes even good players miss those interactions. Alright, he's got an Acolyte of Pain. Probably just hit, but I'm just going to draw a card first. I could just ignore it. It's probably the better play. Actually, I'm going to trade just to make myself a little bit better against Holy Nova. Because, I mean, that wouldn't be amazing for me if he did have a Holy Nova, and then, I don't know, I guess he still can't kill my 3, what would be a 3-2 at that point, but still, get some value out of the Wild Pyro before it goes away forever. Gurubashi Berserker. It's not great. I could just start flinging stuff at it. Mortal Coils and Drain Lives and hit it with that. I think I'm just going to ignore it for now and play a Doom Guard and go towards his face. Oh no. Stupid Knife Juggler. Should have traded the Knife Juggler last turn instead, obviously. That was a huge mistake. Or what I should... No, I didn't have enough mana, but I was going to say what I should have done is attacked him, then Mortal Coiled my own Knife Juggler so that I wouldn't have to deal with this giant Berserker. Gurubashi Berserker. But either way, I should be okay this game. I mean, there's a chance that I lose. See, he's got 2 more cards than me right now, but he's at 3 and I'm at 27, and even if he does stabilize, I can just start drawing cards, and I have Spellbreaker to deal with this, so it's not like he can just get this out of control and kill me with it. So it's definitely not like the best board position ever, but it's pretty good. He's gonna have to have a 4 or less mana away to deal with a couple of my creatures, or I guess he could deal with multiples of my creatures. Okay. It's just like at that point, trying to think of a way that this game isn't over is more difficult than commentating the tough matches where I have to make decisions and choose those. Just trying to figure out what to say. Well, my opponent is clearly dead on board, and I don't want to be a jerk about it. But anyway, I mean, there was a chance that they could have gotten out of it, however unlikely. Anyway, we're in the next test season 4, and I'm no longer a legend, which is really sad, but I've been doing pretty well. I've been rocking my Druid mid-range deck, and I'm having a lot of trouble losing. I haven't lost 0 games, but it's been about 2 or 3 or something like that. And I've won like 15 to 20. I don't know. It's been pretty solid, and I'm excited about it. Anyway, same thing about the 6 and the 5. Keeping a Shadow Bolt wouldn't be a disaster, but I still want to try and find 2-drop. So I want to give myself the best chance to find a 2-drop, so I'm going to mulligan all those cards. And I did find a 2-drop, and a 3-drop, and a Raging Worgen. Raging Worgen is so much better not in decks where... not in these kind of decks, but basically if I draw another 2-drop here, I'm definitely going to play it so that I can play the Raging Worgen and then try and enrage it with my Mad Bomber. But if my opponent doesn't give me, or if my deck or my opponent doesn't give me any other options, then I'm just going to play it. And I'm not going to do that either, because this card is such a good combo with Mortal Coil that I'd much rather save it for a surprise 2 damage, draw a card, than use it right now. Oh, come on. Hate it when that happens. There's like a 25% chance for them to kill your guy like that, and it sucks every time it happens. Such a huge blowout, and if I didn't have the Cobalt Geomancer Mortal Coil combo there, then I would be so far behind right now. But fortunately I did have that, and that definitely really helps, because otherwise I'd be down like an entire extra card, and he has tempo, because he has a card on board and I don't, so it's just really, really shitty when that happens. Alright, there's a Shadow Bolt. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna concede the fact that my Geomancer is gonna die. It's not worth trying to save with any of my other cards. But maybe I just want to play this instead. And Yeah, I'll attack that. I know it gives him the option to shapeshift and just hit my guy and kill it for free. But if he's doing that, then he's probably not dealing with my Raging Organ, and then I can hit him with it. And, I mean, even that's not so good, because then he can just shapeshift again the next turn. But then he's not doing anything big for 2 turns. He's turning his 4 and his 5 into a 2 and a 3. And if he's doing that, then I'm not so upset. I mean, I'm obviously not very happy, but, right, oh, okay, interesting. He's going to leave the Geomancer alive for another turn. That is very interesting. Not okay, he's gonna coin out an Acolyte of Pain. That's pretty good. I'll give him that. Alright, we're just gonna have to. Well, I mean, I don't have to Shadow Bolt. I'm probably just gonna. I should draw first in case I draw Demon Fire. Oh, so close. Such overkill. Alternatively, I could have just played a Flesh-Eating Ghoul and Soulfired. I don't really need all the cards in my hand anyway, so that could have been a better option. But I like keeping the Soulfire around for now. Though this does give me a better board position. So my opponent's got 7 cards in his hand to my 5. Doesn't put me in a great spot. Okay, that's not an absurd card. I can beat it. Can beat. I think I'm going to draw here, and then go ahead and just drop Damaged Golem, or Harvest Golem, rather. And, I mean, we're getting back to even on cards because I've been drawing in the past couple of turns. My opponent has a little bit of a tempo advantage since he gets to attack first, but he can't really attack successfully into this. Sure. So, I mean, this 1-for-1s immediately, and anything else that I get out of it is just value. And yeah, it looks like he's just gonna use his 4 mana to take out my 3 mana card, which is okay. It's fine. I mean, it's not technically that good because I sort of used 4 mana to play the Harvest Golem since I left a Crystal empty there. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot into Mortal Coil here. Pass the turn. Alright, so now my opponent's on 7 cards and I'm on 7 and I've got a card out. We're both at the same life. My hero ability is... Actually, I think they're about even at this point. If I was at 30, mine would be better. 22 makes it against a Druid, which has Swipe and Druid of the Claw at common. So those are some decent cards to just kill me out of nowhere. That's big. Best way to deal with this situation. Let's think. Alright, so I have no more Mortal Coils in my deck. I could play Knife Juggler into Doomguard, hope to hit this, and if I do, then I'm very happy. If I don't, then I can still just run this and Soulfire or not. I don't know. Oh, we should do this first, sorry. Alright, so this is... I think this is my best option. Alright. Definitely gives me a huge advantage to hit it. I don't think I had a very good option on this turn, other than that. Alright, so yeah, so I discarded Hellfire and Senjin. Cards that would be helpful, but... yeah, that's okay. So we've got a lot of damage. You got 12 damage on this board. 12, 16 damage. I mean, I might just attack him and play the Mountain Giant. What's that weak against? That's weak against him having Naturalize in deck, which is a possibility. It's probably not worth it. I should at least trade here, just because it's so favorable. So yeah, let's do that. Actually, yeah. Trade here first, then play this Mountain Giant, and hope to hit... okay, hitting that's fine too. Yep, and he's gotta deal with some stuff here. I mean, he does have the ability to. He's not even up a card. He's up 1 card here, but he's on the draw, so technically I gained... or we're about even still. Because he should be up a card, because he starts up a card. Ancient of Lore, gain 5. That's not going to cut it here, because I have 13. Alright, he's at 16, and this is 17 damage. So yeah, I mean, that was a good card to play here, but unfortunately, not going to cut it. There's also Doomguard. Alright, so Doomguard get there? I don't know. Doomguard is a really powerful card. I got lucky that I hit the Fen Creeper. Other than that, that was probably my best. I still think it was my best option, even though it was 50-50 to be very good and 50-50 to be very bad. I just don't think that there was another good option. I think that having a 50% chance to have a good option was better than having a 0 chance to have a good option, because I don't think that there was anything that would have been good. I mean, the worst part is I'm discarding 2 cards, and my Doomguard isn't having a great immediate effect on the board. It's not a terrible one, but it's not a great one either. Anyway, playing a Doomguard on turn 5 in the arena is often very backbreaking. I mean, sure, sometimes... I mean, I'm very unlikely to play it on an open board, unless I have no cards in hand, but if I just play it, hit him in the face, if he's a priest, and then he Shadow or Deaths it, or something of that ilk happens, then I am in very bad shape, because I'm just down like 2 full cards because of it. And all I did was deal 5 damage to a priest, which can't do anything. But that is not the point. I don't know why I started talking and going on that rambling mess. I don't know. I mean, the deck worked out the first 2 games, but those are only the first 2. Every game gets progressively much more difficult to win. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back in the next video, hopefully with a real video instead of an apology. But anyway, have a wonderful day. Bye.